Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to the Yule/Solstice edition of Black Witch Chronicles. It's good to see y'all lovely faces.
I know it's good to be back with you again.
Yes, indeed. Well, 2014, quite a ride.
To say
Quite a ride.
to say
Has
the
been.
least.
It has been quite a ride. Lots of unexpected and expected twists and turns.
Oshun is with us. Mama Oshun, Ashe.
Yes. Oh, let me get
Uh,
my little speaker.
The nice thing about Oshun is she's a warrior, and that's something that people don't always that's go to um, for Mama Oshun is her warrior aspect. It's really good that we have that because we really want to remember that we do live during a time of war, and the warrior aspect of the mother, the protective mother, the light worker, the light warrior, is really important for all of us. She brings the abundance, the fecundity, the protection. The sweetness and the love and the light is not. We're not in our West African Yoruba pantheon. We're not operating with that Judeo-Christian thing, the whore or the saint, the virgin or the whore. We don't have all that dichotomy. All of our Orisha in the pantheon are all complicated. They have love affairs and fights, and they trick each other, and they protect each other, and they'll wield the machete when necessary. So I just want to represent for La Madre Oshun.
Hmm.
Ashe. And um, isn't it a blessing that we have these amazing Orishas, spirits, and light beings on the other side to help us wield the machete with some love, some sweetness, and some honey, like to cut through all the BS and get down to what we really need to be doing, which is shifting this energy towards love.
Ashe.
Shame.
Yeah, and again, a lot of us have, all of us really, except for a choice few, are doing the necessary decolonizing work. There's been a lot of talk about respectability politics lately, which I'm glad to see that that phrase is in usage because people really can benefit from realizing respectability politics is really just about the fact that we were all colonized to a particular set of moralities and expectations around morality. So the idea is that if someone is really sweet and loving and caring and very feminine in their presentation, that they can't also come out and kick some ass, for instance, and represent. Or in the case of the national incest case that we're dealing with Bill Cosby's allegations of being a serial rapist and assaulter. People are so incredulous that a man who did raise so many of us and did bring a lot of positivity. Fat damn Albert. Let's get straight.
Mm.
Fat Albert is also an accused serial rapist. Like that's doable.
Yeah.
And I think for us, because we're colonized, it's very hard for us to make that doable. It's very hard for us to do anything besides love hate, and that's why, Keisha, we can't bring the love in, because no person is not going to have characteristics that we don't approve of and don't enjoy. So it makes it easier to hate than it does to love. Because in order to love someone, we need them to be, the Virgin Mary, for instance, give birth to saviors without ever having sex. And the same thing for the men.
Well,
So, and then anyone of any gender, just of all human.
I can't hear you. I lost your sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, well, that was it. I just took a pause.
Okay, well, I think that, what you're saying, and even what we were talking about with the Orisha, they were all very complicated, and in the same way that people are complicated. And I really, what you're saying about the colonization really resonates with us not being able to balance, so many things. How can you be good and do bad things? What does that mean about you as a person, and what does that mean about me as a person who loved you? I think too is what is difficult for people to think about. How could I love, and it doesn't have to be Bill Cosby. I mean, let's face it, it's the holidays. There's plenty of people right now who are going to be expected to sit at tables with their abusers,
Absolutely, all across the nation.
What'd you say?
Absolutely, all across the nation. That is the issue. Bill Cosby is merely a representative. That's the choice
Exactly.
when one decides to become.
Exactly. And I think, again, just like, when we talked about a couple months ago, the Ray Rice situation, the only difference between now and then is people have cameras. People can see, I think that's what's such a powerful time, and it makes me think about Revelation, right? Because we're having all of these revelations. There's no more hiding. These veils are just coming down in sort of lightning speed. The energies are just pulling off veils, and people can no longer hide. And I think it's going to be very uncomfortable going forward for people who want to hide behind those masks, because these masks are being pulled off one by one by one by one.
And I want to add to that. I want to say that it is mostly society that are currently experiencing this uncomfortableness. As Black women, we've been sitting at the table and having that uncomfortableness with our abusers for forever, it seems like. We've been sheltering so many of our abusers and oppressors in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our families. We've been at the table for a long time now. And everybody else, I want to say, welcome to the table, okay? This ain't nothing new to us. We've been navigating through that truth and those realities for a very long time. And holding up movements and shifting through that, and holding up communities and birthing babies, and having some sort of peace within ourselves for a very long time. So I want to say that as the veils are coming off, the blinders that are coming off, and shift that is happening in our larger community called Earth, Black women have known this knowledge and working through this knowledge, which is why we are so able to hold space for those of you all that are having the veils lifted off of your faces right now.
No kidding. That's just such a big part of it. Just the amount of acceptance that we've had to do throughout the entire history. I'll specifically speak about, Black American women. For us, we've have our whole entire legacy from beginning all the way to right now includes working with, loving, co-parenting, rearing children with our abusers. We have always had a complicated relationship with our rapists, with our psychological and social assaulters. We have been patient with patriarchy. We have been patient with racism. We have been patient with the rape culture. Myself, I have been raped, assaulted, abused, called a nigger so many times by people who really, really mean it, who also are close people in my life since I was a child. So all of those things have been happening in my life concurrently. I've been dealing with constant assault, abuse, and rape from very close people in my life from the time I was born. So I haven't had the luxury to say, well, you're all bad and I have this little tower I can go reside in and be righteous. I'm like, well, actually, I have to rely on you. I have to like meet with you tomorrow and talk to you about certain things. I can't get my life to go forward without you. I have to ride a bus with you. I have to like be your community member. I mean, my whole life, I've always had to be very graceful in terms of navigating that, and it's really set me up to, I just can't really judge people in any absolutes. I don't have the capability to do so because there's nothing about my life that has taught me to do so. Both my parents being servants and, being mistreated by their employers who also were putting food on our table. I mean, I could go on about every detail and just really illuminate that. So yes, Keisha, to everybody who's getting like is in a state of shock right now and is just getting welcome to the table, for sure, welcome to the complex version of life. Many of us have been living since, the 1500s.
And what you're saying makes me think about the concept of justice and what we also have been colonized to believe about justice and about good things happening to good people. Basically just everything that we were taught was incorrect. And in so many ways.
Right. What is your definition of good? What is your definition of justice? When we think about Trayvon Martin, when we think about all the children who are, like right now in Chicago, being shot up, and then those children that are going to jail, is that justice? Is it justice that they are going to jail? And I know this is a hard sticking point. Like everybody is saying, put more police on the street, arrest those people that are doing so much bad in our neighborhood. But is that really justice? To lock away our children when really they need services, some human rights, some better food, some housing equality or equity. All of these things are necessary before we start stepping into the justice pool, the good, the bad pool. Like we have this dichotomy that just does not exist and has never existed.
Right, because if it was just, you can't talk about the children and what they need without talking about what their parents need, what their parents needed. And so, yeah, I mean, you just can't talk about that. And one of the things is, I was preparing for our conversation. One of the things that sort of came to me was to raise the issue of the impersonality of the universe and the impartiality of the universe and the fact that no thing is really personal in that realm, and that we get into trouble because we want to personalize things that are not personal. And our real work of balancing and justice may need to be happening on another plane, is what I'm hearing, that we need to be doing our, oh God, hold on, Iggy Azalea, hold on. I gotta turn that down. We need to be, oh, sorry. It's just like, what is that? We need to be doing our work in another way.
Like, let's give some wonderful examples. Black Witch Chronicles.
Wait, I got my bell that I got from my grandmother and grandfather's cabinet, and my shakers. Black Witch Chronicles.
Yes.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah, we're working under the
Now,
new moon, planting these seeds.
Mm.
yeah. So, we often talk about the injustice, and I mean, clearly it's been hard for us, hard going. Some things that I wanted to kind of give, or some direct action, spirit moves that we can give to the larger community. Do you have any um, gifts that you can offer the community? Like for me, um, one of the things that I have been using that I want to kind of give to the community recently is sage in a different way.
Hmm.
Um, Sage, I know we do a lot of burning with sage. But sage is such an amazing spirit gift from the divine creator and our spirit guides. And I've been chewing sage
Hmm.
to give you, because as a runner, and my legs are sore, and it's an anti-spasmodic. It lifts your mood. It cleanses you from the inside. And I also have been infusing it in my bath water to just relieve my aches and pains. It's good if you use it in a liniment to put on your knees. But taking a bath cuts and clears any negative energy spirits that you have on you, because we know, I mean, looking at some of these people, they got some negative energy spirits. And no shade about it. I'm just trying to give you what I know to
Mhm.
lift that off.
Mhm.
So I've been using sage, and it's an herb that came to me from a community garden um, that was kind of just left over there. And Spirit was like, go into that garden and see what's in there, and a whole bush of sage. So um, that's what I want to gift going into 2013, is to for us to not only burn sage, but when you're feeling down, um, you can take it, ingest it to lift your mood, and also infuse it in a bath.
I
So,
like your spiral. You said 2013, and we're going into 2015. You're
I'm sorry,
spiraling.
2015. Am I going back?
please don't.
Spiraling.
Please don't. Please don't. I would say I have a couple of things. One thing that I wanted to just suggest right off the bat was sea salt, bathing in sea salt, mixing sea salt, olive oil into a scrub, scrubbing that on your body, rinsing it off with a half an orange peel, or a half an orange, I should say, um, is a very cleansing bath. And I would also say, for those that are so inclined, connection to the goddesses, work, male and female, connecting to the goddess energy, connecting to the divine feminine. I've been doing that more this year, and I feel a lot more balanced. I felt like it's interesting that my practice was very patriarchal, and I didn't realize it until the goddesses started sort of drawing me in, and I started following them, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of patriarchal in my practice. So look at that. So, and I've actually been working with Lakshmi. I just pulled a card, and so Lakshmi is a beautiful goddess of abundance and just all things that are good. And like I said, I've been working with Lakshmi for a while. So I would say just connection to the goddesses. Lakshmi, Lakshmi. I love you, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Excuse me. Dovetailing on the connection to the goddess, I would like to say that I've been doing quite a bit of yoni work in terms of really doing that next level decolonization. We're looking at really, realizing like, oh, I've really lived in a phallocentric world, and what is my relationship to my yoni, as a creative, powerful entity, using yoni eggs. Excuse me, I've had this cough for a
I
month.
have too. It's interesting.
Picked it up from a lovely child. It is interesting. But yoni work, really going into the creative power of the yoni, people of all genders, I highly recommend.
Ashe. Um, uh, some work that I had started doing last year, well, this past year, and will continue to do is vaginal gazing. So just sitting in front of the mirror naked and sending energy to my vagina um, and healing it, learning to love it, learning to love it with hair, not having to remove the hair, not having to see it as different, but just as it is, whole, healing, well. A lot of us are having fibroids, um, polyps, um, yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, sending our vaginas, our wombs, our whole bodies as healthy and whole, just the way they are, and gradually um, just adding more vegetables to your diet. I know some of us have to go out of our communities to get access to that, um, but we really have to see ourselves as whole by any means necessary. And that's consciously taking small steps to do that.
Ashe. Very important. Very important. So as we sort of wrap up 2014 and move towards 2015 and beyond, is there anything any messages you feel are important for people to hear?
Keep your eye on the prize. Right now, I want to remind everyone always that solstice 2 years ago was the close of an era, which means we're in the opening of an era. It's a very unique position to be in, and to continuously remind ourselves and each other of that is very helpful. Right now, 2015 is just going to be a catapult year. That is what has been given to me very clearly. All of the work that we've done, whoever you are, whatever you've been focused on, this is a time to really just get your flight. You know, are you the type that flies with your hands out? Are you going to fly with your hands back? Are you going to put on a cape? Because really it's a catapult year. Whatever you've been shooting for, you want to hit the bullseye this year. But there may be a feeling 2015 is going to be really about something like we're in flight, so we're moving, which is, you know, you can only do so much when you're in flight. So it's more about, you know, surrendering to the process. For instance, doing all this yoni work and goddess work, you know, it's going to bring up a lot of stuff. So we're going to have to be peaceful as we move through this stuff. Moving through the, you know, when there is a reason why we go into denial in order to just get bills paid and live our lives. Because when childhood trauma, you know, all the rapes and assaults that so many people have put up with, you know, men and women, especially in our childhood, you know, people have put up with a lot of abuse from many different angles. People of all genders, races, classes, and so forth. So when we start to do the spiral-spirited work, we have to go into the dark side. That's why the yoni, the womb, it's dark. And what that means is, you know, the skeletons are going to come out of the closet. You may have to sit down and fast and cleanse. You may have to tell all your family members that you are in a healing crisis of some sort. You may have to really face yourself in a way that is, might make you hysterical, or might make you want to on your life, might make you realize that the people you have in your life, you've brought in your life to help actually foster this lie, protecting yourself from your own traumas. And then once that stuff comes up, all of a sudden your whole life may shift. This has been my experience. This is what I've been experiencing the past few years. And it's shocking. It's really shocking to, in some ways, find out that I haven't even really been living my own life in many ways. The ways in which I've had to set my life up to protect myself from all the traumas and get through the machine and just make sure everything goes and bills keep getting paid and roof keeps being had, has actually created a life that is not me. On the inside, I always feel like this is not really the life I would choose for myself if I was allowed to, which is interesting since I am allowed to. So with that said, this catapult flying through the air might be some real personal unwinding. 2015 is definitely designed for that. Get allies, get family, get friends. Contact the Black Witch Chronicles. Seriously, though. Get support. Get support and know that this is what's up. It's the best work that can be done. It's the best stuff to do.
And I want to dovetail off of that, Dr. G, by saying that, and one of the things that I journaled about this morning was the collective work of taking care of one another. That is where I want to end it. That this is collective work. We have to collectively hold space for one another. And it's not going to be ugly. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. It's oftentimes going to be ugly. And you got to put on your rain boots and prepare to take a lot of shit and deal with a lot of emotions. And that's just how it is. Life ain't no crystal stair. It is not no crystal staircase. And we have to be prepared to hold space and do whatever is necessary to continue to love on one another and build community. That's where it's at. That's the bottom line. Be there for each other. Love one another as we go into this 2015. Bring that sweetness into your home. And do your best. Just be your best you. Show up every day being your best you. And sometimes that does not look pretty.
That's interesting that you say that, because last night, as I was doing my meditation reading for 2015, that was the message that came to me, was this sort of return to love, turning to people. People really feel like this chaos obviously is continuing, but that a new focus on family, a new focus on love, a new focus on the children and the needs of children. So that's interesting that that's what you keyed into, because that's sort of, among other things, one of the things that I heard as well real strong was just the need for love and people really reconnecting with each other.
Okay.
Ashe.
So, you tune in to another sweet edition of the Black Witch Chronicles. It was so good to see you. I love you both. Hopefully we can get together in this new year, all of us.
Yeah, of course. In the flesh.
God is willing, we'll be back.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
Peace
and
love.
blessings. Keep your allies close for this holiday season. It sure is a time when things come up. Keep your people close. I love you. I love every last person, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you do. The love is still there for you to grow and evolve consciously. Ashe, amen, aho. Namaste, hotep.
Ashe. And so it is.